Well, hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining the We In It podcast, episode number 2. You are in for such a treat. Man, I've got a special guest on here that you are going to love. I can truly call him my best friend. Welcome, Mr. Joey Mancuso, to the set.
Hey, man.
Welcome to episode number 2.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks
this
for being
awesome.
on here. Hey, okay, so seriously, when I say he's my best friend, I really mean that. Like, I can actually call Joey my best friend. And I feel like people nowadays can't really do that.
No.
I feel like they say they have best friends, but in all reality, a best friend is somebody who sharpens you, right? Yeah. A best friend is somebody who doesn't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been times when Joey and I tell each other what we need to hear, you know, and I love that. But outside of that, not only do we hang out, not only do, you know, we do certain things outside of church together, but we do a lot of things inside church together. Like, we actually do life together. We serve for the kingdom of God. And we've been doing worship together and ministry together for 16 plus years now, right? Yeah. I mean, maybe longer. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did that make us sound kind of old?
No, we really are.
We both are turning 37 this year.
Yeah. And
that, you know, somebody just posted that on their Instagram. They posted this chart that had this list of like years from like, I think 1990 something to like 87 or 86, and then it showed 2023, and on next to all those years, it showed how old each of those people were going to be that were born in that year. Yeah. So I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to be 37 this year, and I don't know why. And not that that's old, you know, but 36 didn't bother me. Right. Like, none of the ages, like 30 to 36, for whatever reason, I didn't think anything of it. Yeah. But when I read that and I saw that I'm going to be 37, for some reason, I got this like gut heavy feeling.
Oh my gosh, like, I know, man. Trust me.
Like, what the heck? Yeah. You know?
Well, when you have every young adult at church telling you, you're 36, like they say it like it's ancient days. I'm like, dude, I'm not, you know, like going to meet Jesus anytime soon. I still outrun you.
Yeah. Like, I remember one of the girls at the church and the young adults, when we were coming up with like the name, like the new name, and which the name is called O2, which you know. But I was like, man, when you say O2, it just reminds me of like a graduating year. And she goes, O2? Oh my gosh, who graduated in 02? I was like, well, I graduated in 04. So what the heck does that mean? You know, like,
she's like, I was born in 02.
Yeah. She's like, I was like 1. I'm like, okay, all right, let's move on from that. But wow,
the worst.
Okay. So we've been doing a lot of life together. We can really truly call each other best friends. I mean, to the point to where we finish each other's sentences. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. And I mean, we even though we have different parents, like, we literally are brothers, you know. But I'm so honored that we've done as much life together that we do, and it's for the kingdom of God. Right. You know, it's not just this regular friendship, man. We're talking about a friendship that's doing something for the kingdom together, you know. So there's a lot of value here in this relationship. One thing that, Joey, you carry that I have always admired about you is like, you're like a man of boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, you know how far is too far. Yeah. And the thing is, but it's like you've always set this boundary to where you don't even get to the point of how far is too far. You know, well, at least that I know.
I disguise it well.
And I don't know if that is, I mean, is that just naturally in you? Is it the way that your parents raised you? Like, why is it that, seriously, you make it look easy to set these boundaries when most people cross them? Yeah.
No, I mean, I grew up in an amazing home that have, you know, that I have parents that taught me that, you know, and then growing up in church as long as I have, I've had leaders teach me that. And now I have a wife who helps me, because let me tell you, she previews a lot that I say or do before.
Wait. Previews a lot. We got to keep this PG. Okay.
No, but you know what, man? It is that. I mean, that is true. Yeah. You know, and then honestly, I think, you know, that's really cool you said that, because I try, you know, but I think you can only set the boundary if you've crossed the boundary.
Ooh, okay.
And there have been plenty of times where I've done that and regretted it, and then I've always come back to know, like, all right, I just need to make sure that that's not a point.
Dang. You know? That's rough, because when you cross the boundary, there's no taking it back, right? Yeah. Like, but I guess that there is wisdom in that. I mean, a lot of times, I think it's cool, because obviously I can, you know, my past, I can relate to that. I've crossed the boundary maybe, and I've gone way past the boundary to where I can't even see it anymore, you know. But obviously there's that thought process of you can only take people where you've gone yourself. Yeah. And so I love that we can speak into the young adults, you know, or anybody under us or around us, whatever, or our own age, and in hopes of saying that obviously you gain wisdom from things that you experience, right? But because we've experienced it, we don't even want somebody to go there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big deal anymore because, that whole mindset of how far is too far. People, we can talk about this in many different perspectives, but I really want to hit on this personally because to me, like, I feel like you could teach a class on it, But it's just the thought of like, how far is too far? Because everything flows from our personal life.
Yeah.
Right. And it starts here. What are some things that maybe you've experienced? I mean, from things you've seen, things you watch, things you listen to, man, how far is too far for TV shows or movies or music, right?
Right. No, you know what, man? Professionally, I'm a creative. Like, that's what I do. And I'm a very visual person. Yeah. So if I see it in my head, I can create it. That's how I've always lived my life. If I can think it, I can figure it out. Yeah. And I really strive to continue to process that. So I really watch what I put in so that when it comes time to bring it out, there is clarity, a humility, a sensitivity to what's going on.
Yeah.
I think you have to also like sense and read the room that you're in and read the room in the people that you're around and realize, understand their sensitivities too, because, you don't want to bring somebody too far either with you, so I think that's kind of getting off of point, but setting the boundaries are, I've always lived, am I honoring the Lord in this,
It's good.
Now it's weird because it's like, can't watch a television show and say like, am I honoring God in this? Like, I think people take it way too serious and way too far. You know me. Yeah, right. I will push certain jokes. I will push certain things. I will say like, okay, this is fun, but I also won't be a hindrance to somebody.
Yeah.
So when I'm out to eat and people, because I've been around leaders that I've really looked up to and people that I've really looked up to, and just like when you see their private life, and it really kind of messes with you because you're like, wait, I saw you this way. And that could even be like a celebrity figure, somebody you think you think is really cool, and then you find out, well, they're actually a jerk,
Dang.
So for me and for my wife Laura, like, we really say, okay, are we honoring the Lord?
Yeah.
And are we honoring what God gave us, our temple,
It's good.
Because what we put in is, like you said, it's going to stick.
Yeah.
So we have to be very, very cautious with that. And the boundaries, I set them in different ways, in different things. So if it's music, like I love all kinds of music.
Yeah.
But I will get to a point where if I sense a shift in my emotion, I'll figure out what I'm listening to and seeing if I need to cut that out.
Ooh,
because there's definitely a spiritual realm.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that. And we can get into the whole thing of like, the devil being the ultimate worshiper, and he fell and he's in music and that's real. Yeah. But and then when it comes to visual things, you have to. As an artist, I have to. I won't sit down and watch a movie or a show, or I won't even be in an environment that doesn't bring honor to the Lord, doesn't bring honor to me and my wife.
Wow.
If there's cursing in it, if there's nudity, if there's even just like somebody dressed up like a skank bag, man, I'm looking the other way. A
skank bag. We're gonna put a definition right here of what a skank bag is.
Skank bag by Joey. Definition: it's a guy or a girl.
The Mancuso Dictionary. Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be a really weird one. But yeah, I mean. And I won't watch, like you and I were just talking about the Grammys the other day. That whole thing that was going on, and people saying like, should Christians be in the worldly scene of music? I'm like, absolutely, we should. We should be the influencers in that.
Absolutely,
scene.
We're called to be worshipers.
Just because there was one moment.
Yep.
Now it seems like everybody's focused on that. But let's focus on the reality that like Maverick City brought home 4 Grammys.
Yeah.
That's huge.
The fact that there was a worship team at the Grammys.
That's cool.
What? That's
really cool. Yeah. And we're starting to influence that. Who cares? Like the enemy can do what he wants, but he's not going to win.
Right.
I do think that we have the opportunity to be as creative as they are.
Yeah.
But it still has to bring honor to the Lord.
Yes.
And that's a boundary that I set as well.
Yeah.
Like when I do something creative wise, I have to take it to the Lord and say like, all right, is this still honoring you, or is this just, I'm just trying to be cool and relevant to the culture around us?
Yeah. That's good. I think one thing that was key that you even talked about is like the things you lit in. It's all about what you're letting in, right? Because your eyes and your ears are the to your heart.
Right.
And the scripture is clear about the things that you feed in your heart. Like whatever's out of the abundance of the heart, your mouth speaks.
Yeah.
So man, if you're watching filth, if you allowed yourself to cross that line, and that's what you're feeding yourself. And I love that you said you checked yourself. You noticed like there's a funk about you. Yeah. And so you had to start thinking, going back first off, you were honest.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, there's something I'm probably listening to here that's affecting my attitude.
Right on.
That's huge. So, okay, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yeah. And as a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Yeah.
Like that's huge to me. You know what I mean? So really, ultimately, the way that you come off to other people really is a reflection of what's inside of you, And so, okay, so you've got these boundaries, and I'm thinking about, it is difficult anymore. Okay, well, let's go here. I love how you said it's not that we have to be so hyper spiritual about certain things.
Right.
I don't think God looks at us and says, "Hey, you're going to hell because you just watched Marvel." No, not really.
Yeah, right.
But let's talk about that a little bit, of the things that we watch.
Yeah.
Because I remember just not too long ago, somebody told me about watching this one TV show, and my wife and I are always looking for like a good series to watch once in a while. So we turned it on. And within the first 3 to 5 minutes of it, we immediately turned it off.
Yeah.
Because in our spirit, we knew just like, if this is the way that this first episode can start off, this vulgar, this kind of dark, you know what I mean? Like that's even another thing. Like you don't even want to open up your life. You don't even want to open up the window or the door to something that demonic either. If you just sense a heaviness,
Right.
But if this is how a series can start off within the first 3 to 5 minutes, there ain't no way in hell I'm going to watch the rest of this, right?
Right.
And so it's like, when you know,
right.
People just want to test the boundaries a little bit because of your flesh. It's a matter of dying to your flesh, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about the things that we watch. I feel like even PG-13 movies are like rated R movies anymore.
Oh, dude, they're so tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Like we've watched so many movies. Like there are certain things that we won't allow to be in movies and shows and even just regular TV, that it's just like you said, if you have a relationship with the Lord, know. Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And I have seen people like talk about certain things that you have to watch this. I was out with some people and they were telling me about this particular movie I had to watch. And Laura was like, "Hey, I heard about this movie." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And I looked it up on, did you ever use that plugin like website?
No.
It's really crazy. I heard about it from my mother-in-law. And I was like, let me look it up. And it tells you how many curse words there are, how many, if there's nudity. It's really cool.
Shoot.
So I was like, let me just take a look because it was like, it was questionable if we would even turn it on because the genre was like horror comedy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't let that stuff in. I don't like that stuff at all.
Huh.
So
everybody take note of that. That's a free plug for that website or whatever that
plugged
is.
in, man. It was good.
They're not sponsoring this, by the way. But.
And they said 60 F-bombs in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, nope. Like turn it up.
I don't even think I've said that bomb 60 times in my entire life.
Yeah, I do it. I do in my sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Freak.
Faith.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those spiritual
guys.
We're
definitely Christians.
You say that bomb. Yeah, faith.
Wow, we just made ourselves look like corny youth leaders.
We're 30. We're going to be 37.
Yeah, that's it. We finally hit the climax.
Dang.
Downhill. I know. That started making me think too. I'm like, man, how long am I going to be playing? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, it's so weird. But no, I mean, we don't let that in. We just can't. You know what? God gave us so much, and He gave everything so that we can go to Him with everything.
Yeah.
I'm really not trying to go to Him with all this crap and saying like, can you help me filter it out? It
Dang it. It never fun. 3, 2, 1.
Noise.
Okay, we just had some technical difficulties. We're back at it. The thing that Joey and I can admit, like we have pretty bad ADD too. So if something comes up, we're definitely going to forget what we were talking about. but I think bottom line is this. So we're talking about the things that you lit in.
Yeah.
And the main thought and the question of is how far is too far.
Right.
Especially personally, because what you do personally affects everything you do.
Yeah.
Right, from ministry to relationships to work. To you just living a righteous life, period. Yeah. And that's bottom line. Yeah. God wants us to live righteously, right? That's where God can trust us with more. That's where greater that's what I believe, that at least greater doors of opportunity come when we're living righteously unto God. So you gotta be careful of what you let in.
Yep.
what you watch,
right,
what you hear, right? Because it ultimately affects everything that you do.
Oh, yeah.
And it affects your own personal ministry, right?
Yeah.
Into other people.
Right.
You know, because we're supposed to be a living example, set apart.
Yeah.
A living, walking, breathing testimony by the way that we live, by the things that we say too, you know? And so, Joe, I love that you just set these boundaries, you know, and it's kind of like you set this standard, you raise this standard, you know, and I think it's evident in your life. Wow. And one thing that we talked about off the scene earlier is that you and Laura, like you practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And you don't want to just preach something, but behind the scenes not do it right. Let's go there. Because you ain't hiding anything from God.
Right.
There ain't no hiding. Like, that's why I got that little thing in my office that says, I saw that, God. Yeah. It's true. Okay, God, you did see that crap. Like, I ain't hiding anything from you too. So maybe something, what's a tip or advice you could say to anybody watching right now if they're thinking, hey, how far is too far with some of the things? And this could be anything, but just thinking, hey, how far is too far with this? What would be your greatest advice for them?
I mean, if it's dating or if it's just your work, professional career, if it's just having, you know, your walk with your wife, you know, or your spouse, whatever, it really does come down to, for me, it does come down to honor. Yeah. You know, God gave everything for us. So he is in the room with you at every moment. So it doesn't matter what you're looking at, what you're saying.
I am watching you. Like real creepy in a sense.
It's just like above.
Don't be creeped out, but God is watching you.
Everywhere you go. But I really do think that that's so important, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not the super spiritual side of that either. Like when we are out to eat, you know, we're watching what we're doing. We even watch like certain conversations, you know? And it's not because we're just trying to, we want to be an example to others, you know, when we're in our house by ourselves, like what you see is what you get. And I love that because I don't want to, I don't ever want to be one of those people. That's why you'll see, like, I know I push certain jokes, or like people at church will be like, that's Joey. And it's like, well, if you're not going to get me, then why am I going to try to, I can't fake it. Like you know that about me. I suck at faking or acting. Like if it's the
you ain't
worst.
hiding anything to God, and you definitely ain't hiding anything from me. It's all over your face right now.
It's just like, it's like, okay, hey, can you perform more on your guitar? I'm like, hey, do you want me to hit the notes right? Like, I can't. I'm sorry, I suck at this. So that's a boundary.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah,
like, bro, just being honest.
This is what it is, and I just think that that's really like, it's so important to me, you know, for that. I don't want anyone to ever look, because I've had people that I really looked up to that I'm like, I want to be like them. Yeah. And then they make a comment, and you just sit there and go, I don't want to be anything like you. You know? And that's not just people in the church, that's just people professionally, and people just anyone that you interact with, because you know, people that I look up to aren't just, you know, church leaders or church believers, but they are people in the professional world. They are people that honestly, some of them have super foul language, but they have incredible content that you're just like, look, there's super foul language. What was it? What have I ever listened to? Oh, you know what it is? I like this one YouTuber. His content is so clean. Okay. But he said one time that he's like, oh, I dropped the F-bomb when the camera's off. And I'm like, that made me like, I still really like his stuff.
Changed your whole value.
But it really did. I was just like, dude, why? Why are you like acting like that? You don't need it. P. Diddy said it once. He's like, a real rapper doesn't need to swear. Yeah. And I'm like, like, you swear a lot in your stuff, but I'm like, all right, Diddy, if you could say it, like, you should practice it, you know? Yeah, right. And these are examples of people that aren't in the church, right? But it's just certain people, but I do look up because their work ethic is amazing. I love how they inspire. I love how they create. I love how they develop. Not Diddy, I don't care about him. Yeah. But like these people, but I just have always thought to myself, like, I don't care if I'm influencing one person or if I'm influencing thousands. You know, God used you to have this amazing platform on Instagram. Yeah, it's real. What you see, what we see with you on that platform is what we get on a Sunday, or is what we get just any day talking to you. Right. You know, so that's the same thing with me. Yeah. If I'm teaching you something like photography, you know, or how to be creative, it's so easy to go into the darker realm pretty quick. It's you know, there's a product line that I love, but I won't buy from them because their website just pretty much has naked chicks like showing. I'm like, this has no relevance at all to the product that you're selling. Yeah, I can't even go into the website and buy something from you. It's not because I'm worried about stumbling. I just hate that that's the way that they promote their product. Their product's amazing. I want it.
Yep.
But I just refuse to buy it because I can't give in to that.
Right.
That's good. And I just, those are certain things that I've set in my life that for other people, it might not be that important. But when I'm influencing others or when I'm talking to others, I want them to, one, see Christ in me, to see what you see is what you get. You don't fake. I'm not faking it. I can't.
Yep.
And then 3, at the end of the day, that I can, somebody can walk away and say like, look, I want to be like Joey.
Yeah.
And then they never have a moment where they're like, oh, never mind. Like that was a moment. I know I'm going to fail somebody.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to do whatever I can to be in line with the Lord.
Yeah.
In line with my values and just stay with it, because then I never have to come back and apologize.
Yeah. I think that speaks to that whole thing of everybody says that they're searching for authenticity. Oh, I just want what's real. I just want to be a part of something that's authentic. I want to follow somebody that's authentic.
Right.
Well, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Like, look at your own life.
Yeah.
Don't follow somebody else's. Like, are you authentic? Maybe the reason why the world is searching for authentic is because people aren't authentic themselves.
Right.
And you got to reevaluate yourself and say, am I even being authentic? And just thinking about this whole, like boundaries and how far is too far. I think we can just end here and just say, like you literally know. You know if you shouldn't be watching that movie.
Right.
You know if you shouldn't be listening to that music.
Right.
Like you just know. And if you're curious, if you're just curious about it, well, don't let curiosity lead you to acting it out.
Right.
Just if you're immediately curious about it, just say, you know what? I'm just not even going to go there.
Yeah.
Because if I cross that line, I can't take it back.
Right.
So how far is too far? Well, if it's just curious, or if your curiosity comes up, just shut it right off. Right. Shut it down immediately. Don't even go there.
So good.
Save you years.
Dude, we could do this all day long.
Yeah. One day, some of you are going to be 37 and talking like us.
In 16 years of friendship.
Let's go. Nobody else.
Let's do it, man. Let's go another 16.
Love it. Thanks so much, man, for being on this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching episode number 2. Man, I can't wait for the next episode. Who else we got on here? Maybe we'll bring Joey back. I don't know. Who knows what's going on?
Vote.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, vote. Hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that notification so you can be notified for any other videos that come out. Leave a comment, show some love, share this, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.